All right, we are live. Welcome to Big Facts on NFL Sunday. I'm your host, Aaron Barrison, along with Justin Everett. We haven't been on in a little bit, about at least half a week, so we have a lot to discuss about Philly sports. I have a present for you before we get started, though. So give me 1 second and let me hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
You see this?
Oh, boy. Uh-huh.
This is your present. This is for your shit take about Doc Rivers. So I figured this might help you out a little bit. Okay.
Is that where you want to start? You want to start about me eating crow about Doc Rivers? Let's start about me eating crow about Doc Rivers. That's fair.
We'll get to Doc Rivers. I just wanted to show you what I got you. Do you want unless you feel like you're about to ramble on about it? So laying the stage for everybody. And I think we should give a little background on this, Justin. I'll let you take the first lead on this. When the Sixers let Brett Brown go, there's a lot of teams still in the playoffs. Sixers had to do their due diligence. Mike D'Antoni was the first coach, coach with a lengthy coaching history and experience that was available to the Sixers. So that was one of their first interviews. Clippers are still in the playoffs, right? So the first person that I thought of was Ty Lue because he's an assistant coach. And after the Clippers lost, I didn't think Doc Rivers was getting fired because usually that happens within like a 24 to 48 hour period, though. So after that kind of glossed over, I was like, maybe they're not firing him. I wanted Ty Lue for a couple different reasons, which, I can get into with you at another time. Doc Rivers gets fired. He watches I think it was the Eagles game, I think, with ownership or one of the NFL or NBA playoff games. And within 36 hours, he's signed. We had discussed this many times prior to that signing. And obviously, we wanted Doc Rivers over D'Antoni, but we had initially said that one's like a slight step up from the other one and this and that, and you weren't all in on it. You've completely 180'd on this. What is it about Doc Rivers that you're excited about and that you like?
So I was so down and out on it because I'm tired. I'm a tired Philadelphia sports fan. I'm tired of having mediocre all the time. I'm tired of getting guys 10 years past when they were relevant or prime in their position. And on the surface of Doc Rivers, that's what it was. He won a title in Boston in what was that, 08? It's been a long time since Doc has been relevant. And I watched what he did in LA, and I was never really impressed. Now, I know that he went up against that Golden State team. I know the West was stacked, and it was almost impossible to get through that Golden State team for that period of time he was there. But I never even really saw, while he lost to a team he should, I never saw a lot. So after I was vehemently angry about this hiring after 36 hours, I went back and looked at it, and here's the reason why I think it's going to work out. I look at this team as constructed, and I think all of us agree that as constructed, they're not going to contend for a title. There's work needed almost everywhere. I don't know that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can win it on the same team at the same time. And I know that was a big topic of discussion with all these coaching candidates we looked at. Who was going to be able to get the most out of Ben? Who's going to be able to get the most out of Joe? Does this mean Ben's going here or Joe's going there? So when I look at the way that this team is constructed, even if we don't see a blockbuster move that moves Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, at the very least, I see the coach that got Tobias Harris to play like an all-star. And I think that being strapped under that Al Horford contract and needing to find a way to squeeze something out of him, Toby played his best basketball at the 3 in LA, and he played his worst basketball at the 3 in Philadelphia. And I think that comes straight down to coaching. I think that's how much Brett Brown could get out of a player versus how much Doc could get out of a player. So my hope is that even if we don't find a buyer for Ben, if that's the guy they choose to go where we don't get enough value, even if we don't find a buyer for Joe or enough value, I think that Doc can take this team and do better. And with Doc Rivers, we are now kind of 1A, B, and C in the East between Milwaukee, between Boston, and between Philadelphia. Boston and Philadelphia, not just talent, but coaching is a big thing. I see growth. I don't see a regression because I don't think that we can get any worse. And that was my problem with Doc. Everybody was like, oh, but he's better than Brett, but he's better than Brett. Are we really comfortable setting the bar at Brett Brown, though? That was kind of where my hesitation was. So I'm excited about knowing that I've got a coach that can get much more player by player down this roster than I had before.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple things there. I think that we continue to say that Tobias Harris played his best basketball under Doc Rivers, which is true. He was the most efficient. I believe he made the All-Star team in the West, which at that time was a little harder than making the All-Star team in the East. He was the first option on that team, so he did have the ball in his hands a little bit more. But when you're playing, when you have that second option, in all honesty, it should take a little bit of pressure off you. If Embiid's in the post, you should be able to spread the floor around, play inside out. Ben Simmons is as great a passer as we know he is. He should be able to get the ball in spots you like. He averaged almost the same amount of points, but just the overall activeness on the court was much higher when Doc Rivers was there. And that's what I kind of want to see with the offense. I don't want to see people standing around the same pick and roll, them playing, sagging off Ben Simmons because they know he can't shoot. There was no, when we had, JJ Redick and Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova and guys like that, there was a lot more activity on the offensive end. And the problem with this team with Brett Brown was never on defense. For the most part, 80 to 90% of the time, they played a pretty good defensive game, had good defensive matchups. And Ben Simmons became a good defender and took it to becoming an elite defender. I mean, the guy was an all-defensive player this year. And that's why I was so excited and hoping that they could advance and he could stay healthy, because I thought they gave a serious matchup problem to the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, him and Horford in their careers have done a very good job in containing Giannis. Yep. And you didn't have to use multiple players to do that. They were able to do that for the most part by themselves. So the Doc Rivers hiring is interesting. Now, one of the reasons and one of the things they must have discussed is I don't think they're going to move on. There's a lot of people talking about trades. I don't see them moving on from any of their big guys until they give Doc Rivers a year to work with these guys, because I think as a coach, if you come into an interview and you've invested all this money in Embiid and all this money in Ben Simmons and you've given Tobias Harris the max, Doc Rivers is not going to be like, oh, well, I'd rather have Chris Paul than Ben Simmons at the point guard. So why don't we get rid of the guy who just paid $40 million a year last year and go get Chris Paul and let's blow this team up and try something new. I think they want to see what can be done as constructed and try to fill in the extra pieces. But nobody has made the Ben and Embiid situation work yet. The thing that's interesting about this is Sixers fans gave Al Horford hell last year, and rightfully so, right? He played awful, and from what I've seen from him in Atlanta and from what I've seen with him in Boston, that's not who Al Horford is. I have a 10-year, 12-year resume of who Al Horford is, and last year was not Al Horford. So we signed this guy to this huge deal, and he's kind of preventing us from filling our roster with the type of players we need and spreading the floor. Do you move on from someone like that? Maybe. But do you move on from someone like that if a Doc Rivers can come in as a better coach than Brett Brown and get Al Horford to play in the minutes that he's on the floor for Joel Embiid at a much higher level? I'm not sure. I think you need a guy like that if you don't know if Embiid's going to get hurt, if you don't have anybody else in the middle. He could be such a great piece if I can see him playing the way that he played in Boston. Sure. We've talked about a couple of scenarios of some trades that as soon as Doc Rivers get hired, people start throwing out these trades. You can't really do anything at this point unless you're attempting to move some of the cap that you currently have from either Al Horford, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, or Tobias Harris. I don't think they're moving on from Tobias Harris. I don't think they're moving on from Joel Embiid. And I think they're a little bit fed up with Ben Simmons. So if I was to say that there's going to be a first person off the board, it's like, okay, if Ben doesn't shoot this year, he's going to be the first person off the board. There's a rumor going around from a scout that doesn't really get things right many times, but has gotten a couple things right. And we discussed this a little bit. I want to get your take on it because I have a different take.
This is the worst.
Doc Rivers hiring was the worst take too, right? So let's
No,
talk
not
about
your take. Not your take. The idea is the worst. So look, so the rumor is let me make sure, because I went and looked it up after you talked to me about it. So let's make sure I got the right info. The rumor is Ben Simmons goes to the Timberwolves to complete their big three, and we get at the minimum the first overall pick to draft LaMelo. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Holy shit. First of all, is LaMelo Ball better today than Ben Simmons, yes or no?
It's a silly question.
Right. Okay, so no. All right. Is LaMelo Ball's future, saying that everything goes right, brighter than Ben Simmons, yes or no?
If everything in LaMelo's future goes right and everything in Ben Simmons' future doesn't, we're
That's
talking
not what I
about.
asked you. That's not what I asked you.
I know, but am I getting this? Am I getting progression from Ben Simmons?
Yes. In this scenario, we're assuming yes. Yes.
And he'll shoot.
In this scenario, we're assuming he's got a 17-footer.
No, because if Ben Simmons starts shooting, and we've been saying he's going to start shooting for 4 years, but if Ben Simmons starts shooting, he's maybe the best player in the Eastern Conference.
Right. So here's where my problem lies. And we talked about this, and I told you, for my ideal outcome, I would 1,000% prefer, if I had to send Ben to Minnesota to get a guy that shoots and a real guard, I'm taking D'Lo. They'll still be able to have a big three. They're going to have Ben, they're going to have Cat, they're going to have LaMelo. That's still a big three in Minnesota. I don't want a 20-year-old, 19-year-old risk with the level of, you would talk about baggage, dude. He's got an airport's worth of baggage in his life. I don't want to build my franchise between that guy and my center who has shown he can't play a full season. I don't want that. I want D'Lo. If I get D'Angelo Russell for Ben Simmons, and let's just say 2 future first-round draft picks 3 years from now, who cares? They could be 20s. It doesn't matter. D'Lo for Ben is an upgrade for both teams. I get a guy who's not necessarily the distributor that Ben is, but he gets by. He's played the point guard. He'll be okay. He's not the same level of transcendent setup guy, but he can score 40 points a night. If I'm trying to get rid of Ben and build around Joe, that's the player I need. I don't need another Ben Simmons. I mean, LaMelo's shot isn't anything to write home about either. He's just a younger, past first point. Again, if I'm going to build around Joe and I'm going to let Ben go, I need the guard that can put up 35 to 40 a night every night with Joe, like Bradley Beal. That's what D'Lo does for me.
Yeah, so I'm going to take this in another direction, not because I don't like Ben Simmons, but because I've been telling myself, and this is just the irony of being a Philadelphia fan at the end of the day, is we just go through this stuff almost every year, whether it's with the Eagles, the Sixers, or the Phillies. So LaMelo Ball, first and foremost, let me talk about the things I like about LaMelo Ball, because the guys at the top of the draft, like Obi Toppin is going to play like a power forward position. So if you move up to a number 1 pick, they're moving up to get LaMelo Ball. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't want to hear, Edwards is going to be there. And if they move up, they're moving up for LaMelo Ball. This guy is 6'8", 180 pounds. Once he gets into the league, he's going to be 6'8", 205, 210. He's going to be a tall guard. He is a really good passer already. He's been playing ball with Lonzo for his whole life, who's already in the NBA. He's now been playing overseas with pro guys for the last 2 years. The last guy that really came into the NBA we know he's going to be a top 3 to 5 pick was Luka Doncic. I'm not comparing Luka to LaMelo. What I'm saying, though, is nobody thought when Luka came into the league that we were going to see an MVP within a 2-season period, but he had been playing with pros since he was 16. So it's got to be said for something coming from a college level to a pro level. When people are asking me, it's not, I don't know why you're laughing, bro.
Why didn't we say that about Luka? Nobody knew Luka. We've known LaMelo Ball since he was 14. No, we didn't know Luka.
We knew Luka. We just didn't know that him coming into the league would be so easy, the transition, because he had already been playing pro for so long.
Because we have never seen him. We've seen LaMelo Ball since he was this big, dog. We saw his 2 brothers.
Yeah, and he's going to go higher than either of them. One of them was not in the NBA, and the other one was the third pick. He's going to be the number one pick. Why is he going to be the number one pick?
Because his father is the greatest marketing manager in the world.
That's incorrect. If you saw Lonzo come into the league the way he did, and you wanted to stay away from that family, that would plummet your draft stock. The reason that LaMelo Ball is coming in as a number one pick is because he's playing pro ball at a very high level at 18 years old, and his potential is higher. His potential is higher than anybody else's.
At a really high level, then what has he done for you in that league?
He's doing really well in that league. I mean, he's doing just about the same.
What's his 3-point percentage?
It's around 39. So he's not going to be a good.
So he's a good player.
Well, he's not an elite 3-point shooter, if that's what you're looking for. I mean,
how many assists did he average?
I don't know. I don't have his stats in front of me.
Right. If he was that transcendent and that, oh my God, you would know them.
His draft stock in the last year has skyrocketed. Nobody thought he was going to be a top 5 pick, and now everybody's like, no, he's the consensus number 1 pick.
You know who else went through that? And I'm going to ask you if there's a comparison. Do you know who else just went through that? Ja Morant. Do you see the same player?
Well, Ja Morant's a completely different level of athleticism.
I'm not talking about the athleticism. I'm talking about the consistency in the shot, the court vision, the point guard that Ja Morant is. They didn't know about until 3 months before the draft.
The court vision is absolutely there. I mean, that's his best trait at this point is his passing. The problem with LaMelo right now is he just chucks up too many shots. It's almost the problem is almost
by a narcissist, and he's a selfish player.
The problem is almost he thinks he can make everything. That's correct. That's really at the end of the day what it is, and that's a good problem and a bad problem when it's coming down to end of games versus trying to stay in them. Those can be a problem. But
do you know who I see LaMelo being at the top? What in your opinion, who is LaMelo's NBA comparison if he reaches the top of his ceiling?
A 6'8" point guard who's a very good passer and can shoot well at times. Tell me.
I don't see LaMelo Ball being any more impressive or capable than Kyrie Irving. Size aside, I wasn't talking about height.
You can't just put size aside. You can't compare a 6'1" point guard and a 6'8" point guard. They play two different styles.
Is LaMelo Ball strong in the post like Ben Simmons is at 6'10", who's pretty close?
LaMelo Ball's 18 years old. Dwight Howard came in at 18 and he was skin and bones. Look at Dwight Howard.
Was Ben Simmons strong in the post at LSU? The correct answer is yes. Was Ben Simmons strong his entire life? The correct answer is yes.
You're giving Dwight Howard was not that size when he came in.
Anthony Davis comparing a center and a guard.
It's actually a smaller height difference than what you're giving me right now. To be honest with you, you're giving me 7 foot and 6'8" guy.
I'm giving you a position. I'm talking about the position. What does that position provide? Kyrie Irving is a guy who can shoot and make most of the time, just like LaMelo is, and he's a selfish shoot first, pass third point guard. That's what LaMelo is. And how does that work when he's not going to be the primary option on this team?
Well, if you trade Ben Simmons for LaMelo Ball and take him as a number 1 pick, he's not going to be your first option, but you're going to let him experiment during the season and do his thing. I mean, we're not talking about, LaMelo, if you're bringing the ball up, guard, you're going to be compatibly our third option. But the good thing about the Doc Rivers hiring is that he's actually going to set a pecking order. And I think that's one of the things that Brett Brown really failed to do. Nobody knew how they were supposed to play. Nobody knew if they were supposed to go inside out. Nobody knew if the go-to was, pick and roll and playing off that. I think that, to be honest with you, LaMelo is going to be kind of I think he's going to be immediately a top 10 passer in the league, first of all. I think he's going to be better than his brother. That's not saying a hell of a lot, but he can shoot the league between 40 and 43%. You're getting a 6'8" guy that is a hell of a passer and can shoot the ball. And if you're telling me I can get that over Ben Simmons in the construct of this team, I'm also telling you that I'm about to get rid of $40 million in cap space almost per year, which is going to allow me to bring some other players in. Because what they did was they paid Ben Simmons 30 to 40 million until 2024 to not shoot the fucking basketball. So if depending on what I'm getting back from LaMelo, I consider it if Ben still shows me an unwillingness to shoot. And that's really what it comes down to. I'm not pulling the trigger before the season. I'm not doing that. But if Ben Simmons comes out,
in my forehead is starting to come out, dog. We got to stop talking about LaMelo. I can't do this anymore. He's not a better player than Ben right now. So, and you don't give up greatness.
Nobody in the draft coming in is as Simmons or is going to be for the next 2 or 3 years. So let's just get
I need to win. Joel Embiid's got 3 years of his legs left. I need to win now.
You just told me we're not going to win now. You already told me that. So if you already told me we're not going to win now, why am I not taking a flyer on the 18-year-old?
Wait a minute, you twisted ass word, some bitch. I said, as this team stands constructed, that Doc Rivers does not make them win now with this team. You're presenting me getting rid of Ben Simmons and pulling in somebody else. That regresses us further from winning. If we trade for D'Angelo Russell and we have a real point guard, a real 1-2 guard that can score 40 points night in and night out to pair with our all-time center and a second or third option in Tobias Harris, that team competes for the East. If you're going to trade somebody away to build, you build up, not down. Your best player has a handful of years left at best. So trading away Ben Simmons to get LaMelo is only making us worse.
But you can't really trade up because you're locked in with fucking four almost max contracts. So that's one of the logical reasons you get rid of one of those guys. I personally, and let's get this out of the way too, Ben Simmons is the last person on this team that I would personally trade. I would trade, to be honest, Embiid before that because I've just watched every team in the playoffs get farther than they should be because they have a guard that can get past their primary defender. I'm not comparing, Ben Simmons to Jamal Murray. They're two different offensive players, but every center except for the one playing with LeBron has gotten pretty much taken down, right?
And I don't even know that they count Anthony Davis as a center anymore. He's a power forward now, isn't he?
And let's move on to that while we're on it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a sec. All right. Now I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. So, tell me if I'm wrong or right, because I'm hearing a lot of blasphemy and a lot of shots being taken. So I want to detail, first of all, how Lakers season has gone from beginning to end and the narratives for the team from beginning to end. And I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. So the narrative at the beginning was, I don't want to trade all my young core that's up and coming for Anthony Davis. We gave up too much. That was the first narrative. The second one is, the Lakers don't have any surrounding pieces and the Clippers are so good. They have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and there's no way that LeBron can get past these guys because he's there. I don't know where they got that idea. Okay. Then they get the number 1 seed in the West. The Clippers are playing really well at the end of the season, and they're the number 2 seed now, and they know when to turn it on, and they can turn it on, and blah, blah, blah. And then it was, the Blazers are the hottest team in the bubble. They're going to take out the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. And it's like, then gentleman sweep. Okay. Next narrative. Houston took a game and the small ball lineup can really run those bigs off the court. Gentleman sweep.
Bye-bye.
Nikolai Jokic is going to cause a matchup problem with Anthony Davis. And I don't know if LeBron James and Jamal Murray is a good matchup, and they're not going to be. Gentleman sweep. Now we've gotten through the West from another narrative that I heard for 10 years and over a decade that the East was easy. And now the new narrative is, I know Miami's injured, but let's be honest, no team coming out of the East was going to compete with either the Nuggets or the Lakers. And that's just what it was.
Clippers or the Clippers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? So now the next narrative, LeBron got an easy team in the finals and he's going to sweep them, and Anthony Davis looks like he's going to be the MVP. Shut the fuck up.
I'm with you. Man,
so let's Because what we're doing at this point is we're doing it to compare legacies. And once you pick a side in this debate, you're not really coming off of it, right? I mean, there's a logical person might start shifting at some point, but most people on Facebook or whatever, they're not logical people. And listen, we pick a side all the time. We're on the LeBron side, but I'll listen to a Michael side. The thing that pisses me off is the lies that the Michael side tells themselves. And so, one of those
pause real quick. I want to say something real fast, exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to give you 3 names, and I'm going to ask you what LeBron James has in common with these 3 names, okay? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Sam Hunt, and Bill Russell. What does LeBron have in common with those 3 players?
10 finals appearances.
The only 4 players in NBA history to reach 10 NBA finals in their career.
Yeah.
You know whose name's not on that list?
Oh, the guy that was dominant for 10 years, but then went to the Washington Wizards.
And regardless of his 10 years of dominance, there was 2 options with Michael: first round exit or NBA championship. That's it.
Right. And let's break this down too, because every time Michael was in the finals, that team was the favorite. So LeBron has been the favorite in 2013 against San Antonio, which he won. And he's been the favorite in Dallas, which he lost. Every other NBA finals that LeBron is in, the other side was stacked to beat a LeBron James, or it was the Spurs, who had 4 Hall of Famers for a couple years. Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time, and they have the greatest coach of all time, right? No other time has he been the favorite. So that means 2 times that he wasn't the favorite, which was OKC and Golden State, he overcame the odds. And now we're mad because he has to play who's in front of him, and it's too easy. And it's too easy not because he's on the floor reading the defense like a freaking quarterback. I wish there was a pass to assist statistics.
Oh my God.
I wish there was a pass to assist. Because the argument being made is about points per game. Really, at the end of the day, because LeBron has the same amount of rebounds throughout the playoffs almost as Anthony Davis, and he has 7 more assists per game than Anthony Davis. They're separated on average by about 2.5 points. So you're literally talking about a bucket that we're talking about, Anthony Davis is the MVP.
And why is LeBron 2.5 points back in one bucket? Because LeBron James knows to make the right play, not take the shot like Michael did.
That's what 10 assists mean, right? And he's 17 years in doing it. So if there was a pass, so I need to break this down just for 60 seconds for people that watch basketball and watch who scores. Let's say on the floor, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, Caruso, LeBron, Anthony Davis. Caruso and Danny Green are both in the corners. Rondo's out on the wing with them. Anthony Davis is inside. LeBron gets to the post. He gets in the post. Anthony Davis clears out a little bit. Anthony Davis can shoot threes as well. LeBron is backing down a player because there's no player, not even Jimmy Butler or Andre Iguodala at this point in his career, that can guard LeBron James one-on-one. We've seen it throughout these playoffs. Andre's done a decent job on some of these attempts, but for the most part, he's too big, he's too strong, he's too fast, he's in too good a shape. So he's backing smart. He's too smart. He's backing down Jimmy Butler. Everybody on Miami realizes at that specific time he's backing down Jimmy Butler. Fuck, we can't let him back down Jimmy Butler because look how easily he's backing down Jimmy Butler. So guess what has to happen? Somebody else has to come over to help. Danny Green's on the corner. Alex Caruso's on the corner. So somebody else comes to help. Now, LeBron knows that as soon as he passes to Danny Green in the corner, someone's going to come off their man and they're going to fly to Danny Green. He knows that already. So you're going to have either Caruso or Rondo up top. And Rondo's been playing phenomenal basketball. He's been hitting threes as well. We have another guy, LeBron, as many finals as – okay. Anyway, so he passes the ball to Danny Green. knowing that Danny Green's going to pass that ball to Rajon Rondo, and Rondo's probably going to pass it back to Danny Green for a wide open shot because you're making the defense run all over the court. But if you can't understand for a second that even though LeBron didn't get that assist, that whole play was not set up by the fact that nobody on that team can guard him one-on-one, and he's dominant because the times they haven't come to double team LeBron, he bullies his way all the way to the basket for an uncontested layup like he's fucking Shaquille O'Neal. And that's what's happened this entire series. So if there was a pass to assist statistic, he would have a quadruple double every night. So for those of you who don't really understand what they're watching, I need you to watch what happens with LeBron in the post or at the top of the key and how the defense is designed to specifically stop him or keep a body on AD, and tell me what he's doing wrong or why he's not.
Let's talk about the Anthony Davis argument, because this is the one that I'm hearing every single solitary goddamn day. Oh, LeBron's got Anthony Davis, who's averaging 33 points a game. Without him, he doesn't win. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about what Anthony Davis has done pre this Laker team. And it's going to be really quick. I don't even need 60 seconds because it's nothing. Zero. He did nothing. Not because Anthony Davis was any less great of a player in New Orleans, but because he didn't have a guy quarterback in that team on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. This is where LeBron doesn't get his due, and it pisses me off. We don't even need to talk about the offensive side. We know that he's going to end his career in the top 5 in assists. We know he's going to end his career in the top 5 in points. We know all this. We know that LeBron's court vision is almost unmatched in the history of basketball. We know this. No need to argue anymore. Let's talk about 35-year-old LeBron James, not 24-year-old Ben Simmons, who learned how to guard 5 positions and made his first All-NBA defensive team. Let's talk about 35-year-old LeBron James, who is 6'8", 260 pounds, and can stop anybody. Not that we didn't know this before. He showed flashes, but that Denver series, as we've talked about before, what happened when Jamal Murray caught fire? LeBron James, everybody out. Everybody out, that's my guy, and I'll stop him. And Jamal Murray couldn't score again. And this is the argument that falters for me. If you take Anthony Davis out of LA, are they as good? Obviously not. But let's say you replace him with let's say we get a poor man's decent 4. Let's say like a Danilo Gallinari. Good from outside, can make a fadeaway from the post when needed. Not nearly Anthony Davis. I mean, we're talking about players. They're the same. But LeBron James Lakers with Danilo Gallinari probably still make an NBA final. If you take LeBron James off that Laker team and it's Anthony Davis, Rondo, Caruso, Danny Green, where do they go? They get beat by somebody because LeBron James is not on that team.
Well,
What they
are is the New Orleans Pelicans.
Exactly. I am tired of the excuse that LeBron gets bailed out when they win and it's all his fault when they lose. LeBron James, I just shared something on Facebook yesterday. That team that he took to the finals in Cleveland was Zydrunas Ilgauskas and 3 other guys that nobody could name by face at 21 years old. This is the point. From day one till now, LeBron James has shown us nothing other than whatever you give me, I'm going to maximize. That's what he is. And now we're going to get pissed off because at 35, he finally has an elite team-style player? Are you kidding me right now?
And let's get this out of the way real quick, too. The whole season, I heard that, LeBron and AD are fucking great, and they're going to do what they do, but their 3 through fucking 10 guys are just awful, so there's no way. I heard that all year, and now all of a sudden, they're like the overwhelming favorite, and nobody was going to stop them. So you're telling me that before this season, you said that Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, Alex Caruso, and Dwight Howard were dominant players, because all I really heard was, Alex Caruso is like fun to watch dunk, but he averages like 4 points a game. And Rondo's been on 6 different teams, but he's washed up. And Dwight can't stay on any teams at all. And Danny Green is too old. He can't guard anybody anymore. He's not as good as a defensive player, and he isn't hitting his threes. So now all of a sudden, the complementary pieces that LeBron's been giving the ball to all year are showing up in the finals. Why are they showing up in the finals? Because LeBron's been averaging 11 assists per game, and they've been getting those shots all year long. So let's just stop. And the thing with Dwight, and I need to give him a little shout out because we know he can do this, but he hasn't done it in a decade. So that goes to show the leadership of a guy like a LeBron James, and as good a coach, Frank Vogel has not shied away at any point in any of these series from resting his top guys, whether they were up in points or down in points. And that says a lot about a head coach instilling confidence in his team. We can't undermine the job that Frank Vogel's down, because the first game of this series where, again, I heard, Miami's going to take the Heat, or Miami's going to take the Lakers 6 or 7 games. It's going to be a close series, Bam and AD, blah, blah, blah. I know Bam's hurt. They were getting torched before he got hurt, so let's throw it out the window. Miami held the Lakers, and they were within 10 points that whole last game, but it was never close. It was just never a close game. So Dwight has just dominated in his role, and if you want to talk about physicality and defense, Bam got hurt on a play. Let's throw this out there too. If you watch the play that Bam got hurt on, he tried to lower his shoulder and go into Dwight Howard before he went up for a bucket, and Dwight saw it coming, and Dwight lowered his shoulder too. And guess who got the wrong side of that hit?
Bam.
Guess why Bam re-aggravated his shoulder? Because you don't do that to an enforcer. And whether
Dwight Howard, you don't do that to Dwight Howard. That's it.
Probably the only person in the league you don't do that to. You can do that. You can probably even do that with Joel Embiid. Dwight's shoulders are boulders. Like, that was just a bad move by Bam. So I'm not.
All right, so let's wrap this up real quick with a nice, neat bow. LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. Anthony Davis is not the reason why they're winning the way they are, just like the New Orleans Pelicans never competed, even though Anthony Davis was a top 5 player in the league. LeBron James will win his, what is it now, his 3rd finals MVP? Is this 3 for him? 4? 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to hear it anymore. We're not talking about LeBron anymore. Pull up your NFL schedule, pal. Let's go over these picks. I believe we are 1 for 1, right? We both picked the Broncos over the Jets.
No, we actually picked the Jets over the Broncos.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about either of those two teams.
New quarterback, and
right.
figured that Sam Darnold might be able to pull something together for us there with all the injuries that the Broncos have, but the Jets are just sorry. I feel bad.
Jerry Jeudy is a monster.
He's going to be. He's got no one throwing to him right now. He's going to be a monster.
That touchdown, that catch he had for a touchdown, any Eagles receiver goes up for that ball, it's a pick 6 on the other side. That ball was unbelievable, that play. So you start, let's go over games, let's talk about spreads, let's talk about locks, and then I would like to, let's talk about the Eagles game last in the schedule.
All right, so give us just a second here.
Man, there's some stone cold locks.
I know one of yours. All right. The Nick Foles magic ends this week, by the way.
Is that the game you'll start on?
No, I'm just letting everyone know that that's what's going to happen. All right, so we got Indy at Chicago. Chicago is getting 2.5 points. Let's start with that game.
All right, so for those who don't know, this is Chuck Pagano's first game against the Colts since he left. I don't find this to be exciting, but I do think it's going to be competitive. I am 1,000% with you. I don't think that Nick Foles is. I don't think this game ends and I go, oh wow, Nick Foles did it again. I don't see it happening. I'm not going to take a lock against the spread on this game. I think it is a field goal game. It could go either way. I do have the Colts beating the Bears. But I could. I mean, these two teams, I can't. They're so unpredictable, dude. Is Phillip Rivers going to be 5 years ago? Phillip Rivers, is Nick Foles going to be as good as he's seen before? I'm staying away from the points. I'm staying away from that. But if I'm picking straight up, I'm picking the Colts over the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from it too, although if it's going to go in one direction, I find it going in Indy's direction. And the main reason is for that as much Nick Foles magic as he can possibly come up with, there's no real weapons on Chicago. And Frank Reich is on the other side of the ball, and Frank knows exactly what Nick Foles does very well, and he's going to try to take that away from him. Yep. So with taking that away from him, the reason I'm not considering it a lock, even though I love the coaching versus QB matchup, is because it's the Bears defense also versus a completely no mobility Phillip Rivers. And I think they can get to him a little bit, and they're going to have to adjust their game plan. They're going to have to run the ball more. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. So with it being low score, I like 2.5 better than 3.5. But I'm going to stay away from it. I'm getting the Colts 2.5 over Chicago. New Orleans and Detroit. Detroit is +3.
I'm sorry. I was just looking at Jeff Berg's comment on LeBron for a minute ago. I can't. We're past it. Stop talking to me about Michael Jordan. What did you just tell me? What game are we looking at now?
We got New Orleans going into Detroit.
So this is an interesting one. We both called for New Orleans to have a little bit of a regression year, and Michael Thomas isn't playing. Detroit's at home.
Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins, and Jared Cook are all out for the Saints.
I am going to take. Are the Lions favored because of those injuries and they're at home?
No, the Lions are getting 3 points.
Oh, that's a stone cold lock. Lions +3. Take that. Stone cold lock. I think Matt Stafford has maybe this season and next season left, but I think this is the year for him to show that he's got something left in the tank to give to that city. We said it 6 months ago. The Saints are on a path of regression. I believe that the Lions win this, and they definitely, outright win this game. I'm taking Detroit over New Orleans.
Yeah, I never want to pick Detroit because they have a way of just losing games they shouldn't lose. But like on a last second field goal or something like that, and this is a 3-point game, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are upset because this game might break even. But I'm going to take Detroit as well with the points. We picked the Cardinals last week. They let us down. They have a lot of injuries. I didn't realize actually how many injuries they had. I looked at their injury report earlier. DeAndre Hopkins is also questionable, but they are playing a look like they're going to be decently coached, but still bad Carolina Panthers team. So we have the Cardinals at the Panthers. The game is in Carolina, and the Panthers are getting 3.
Easy. Panthers are getting 3?
Yeah.
So give me a second. Let me get to that one in my notes here. All right. So Kyler Murray's on a little bit of a bad streak with interceptions, but the Carolina Panthers aren't half as good a team as the Arizona Cardinals are. This is just as silly. I think that early you're going to see the Panthers compete. It's going to look, oh no, here's Kyler's comeback to Jesus moment. If this is the Cardinals all day long.
Yeah, I can't go away from the Cardinals yet. They would have to show me like several bad weeks of poor play. If DeAndre Hopkins is out, it changes everything. But DeAndre Hopkins wasn't on the Cardinals last year, and Kyler still found a way to win these games.
And beat bad teams, and I don't think he's going to lose to a bad team.
No, I don't. I'm going to go with the Cardinals, and I think that they can cover that 3 points. So AZ, and then Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is giving Jacksonville 2.5 points, and it's crazy, man. I went through the injury reports for all these teams prior to looking at these games, and it's like there's so many people on IR from not having a preseason, and I don't want to hear shit about not having a preseason next year. The preseason is necessary if you want to have a legitimate season at this point. So Cincinnati and Jacksonville, who you got? This is in Cincinnati. Cincinnati giving 2.5.
Cincinnati to cover the spread. Lock Joe Burrow winning his first game. Joe Burrow winning his first game as a favorite. Lock it in, winning by at least a touchdown against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, lock, bro. Lock.
I'm having a little trouble with this one.
Oh no, you're not going to pick against Joe.
Listen,
I know you like the mustache. I know you think Gardner Minshew is this great quarterback.
No, I just, I don't like when rookie quarterbacks are giving points on a team like the Bengals, where I know how good Joe Burrow is, but the Bengals are, and Jacksonville is just as bad at organization. I just have a little bit. I'm going Cincinnati. I have to. I can't.
Thank you. Welcome back to sanity. I appreciate your attempt, but welcome back to sanity.
I'm looking for something that I don't like with the points here. So, Cleveland at Dallas. Dallas is giving Cleveland 4.5.
All right, here it comes. All right, hold on. I got to write it down because I'm trying to keep track here.
The best football team in the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs until Patrick Mahomes gets injured, Jack.
So, Dallas wins this game by 3, and the Browns cover.
It's hard to pick a game like this with that kind of spread because the over-under for this game is 56 points, and there's going to be a lot of offense and not a ton of defense. In a shootout, I like Dallas a little bit more because I like Dak Prescott better than Baker Mayfield. I am going to go with Cleveland as well and take those 4.5 points.
Taking the points, I'm with you.
Yeah. Minnesota at Houston. Houston is giving 3.5.
Hang on one second. All right, Minnesota and Houston. So, do you know what Deshaun Watson's record is against NFC teams?
I know that his record overall is probably not any more than 500. So is it bad or is it good?
If I told you it was sub 500, would you believe me?
Yeah. That's a bad coach over there.
So you did the silly thing last week and you picked Minnesota. I'm going to take the torch from my boy.
They lost by 1 at the end of the game.
I'm going to take the torch from my boy Aaron, and I am going to take Minnesota against the Vikings.
Minnesota against the Vikings?
Yeah, you know what I meant. Minnesota against the Texans. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way.
They let you down last week, bro. You can't get them wrong twice in a row.
Yeah, no, I mean they're the same type of team the Eagles are, though. Realistically, with how this you think they're coming back, you think they're going to be good, and they just shit the bed, and that's happens. If my boys in Minnesota talk about it all the time, it hurts my soul. I'm going to go ahead and go with Houston at home, giving the points. We'll see how Justin Jefferson does this next week, and so you'll take Minnesota.
That's our first one we broke apart on. It took 6 games.
Yeah, I like Deshaun at some point. He's too good not to overcome what's being given to him at this point. I don't think Minnesota's a very good team right now. They had just a really bad heartbreaker last week that I think they're going to have trouble getting up from. And I think Deshaun Watson's like, okay, guys, like it's go time. We got to get I got to start playing like an MVP candidate that everybody says that I am. And I'm going with Houston.
All right.
All right. So Seattle at Miami.
Easy.
Miami. This is mine. Miami getting 5.5.
Easy. Seattle covers.
My lock of the week.
Oh, shit.
Miami covering, maybe winning outright.
Whoa, Mr. Maybe. Stop right there. Stop right in your tracks. I'm going to ask you to your face. Look at the camera. Does Miami cover and win outright, or do they cover and lose?
I think Miami's going to win this game.
Oh, my God. There's our gentleman 25. We're putting 25 on that game.
Okay. Sounds good. So, yeah, I got Miami on that. You got Seattle.
Miami outright. You out your motherfucking mind.
That's a well-coached team that's been playing well with a quarterback that's playing well.
With a quarterback that's 177 and can barely play the position.
He does it everywhere else he goes.
So you can yell at me about my crazy one once we get there.
Chargers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is giving 7 points. Over-under is only 40. Over-under is only 42.5, so the Chargers would have to play really bad.
Godwin and Fournette are out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and after I just gave you that shit, bring it back on, lay it on me. The Chargers beat Tom Brady at home.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I got to take a look at this. I think the Chargers injury report is almost as bad.
I don't care.
How could you not care if you're giving me guys that are out for one team? So the Chargers
come back and play quarterback for that team, and Tom Brady's still going to lose.
The Chargers are missing 2 extremely good offensive linemen. They're missing Mike Williams. They got Chris Harris on injured reserve. Melvin Ingram's on injured reserve. Mike Pouncey's on injured reserve. Brian Balaga's not playing. Trey Turner's not playing. So I'm taking Tampa Bay. I'm laying the point, and I think it's a 10-point game.
So are you taking Tampa Bay to cover that spread?
Yeah.
Oh, you think Tampa Bay's going to win by more than a touchdown?
I think they're going to win by 10.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Maybe more. Okay.
Fucking crazy. Next.
I'm crazy.
Not only do you say Miami wins outright against what is probably the best team in football right now, not only do you say that, but you're going to tell me that Tom Brady's going to beat another bad team by at least 10? You're out of control. Come on, next one.
Giants at Rams. Rams are giving 13 points to the Giants, and they're going to cover that.
Yeah, lock of the week is the New York Giants cover the spread, but the Rams win the game.
You think they're going to cover that spread? You think they can put up points?
All right, wait, stop. What? Reverse. You think that the New York Football Giants are going to lose by at least 14 against the Rams, who we saw are not really that great?
I don't see the Giants scoring more than maybe 7 to 10 points, and I think the Rams on that defense can put up 30. So yeah, I'm
Rams win the. Is that going to be one of your locks too, dog? You think that the Rams cover 13 points?
Let's go through these games, and then I'll give you my locks.
You out your mind, homie.
All right, Justin's taking that 13 points. A lot of points. I don't blame you. The Buffalo Bills at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are only getting 3. That doesn't make much sense to me. What am I missing here, Justin?
I don't know what I'm missing it too, because I mean, again, if I told you that the Buffalo Bills had an average 31 points per game through 3 weeks, wouldn't you go, holy shit, wow? But yeah. Josh Allen, as I have said multiple times over the last couple of weeks, is not only the best under 25 quarterback, he is one of the most exciting quarterbacks to watch play football right now. 3 points. I don't think this game's close, dog. I think this is 28-14 Bills all day long.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm missing something, and we'll come back to it if we lose this and figure out what it is that we missed. The Bills are one of the healthiest teams in the league, too. Unless they think that they have some inside information that Josh Allen's been partying in Las Vegas all week. I don't get this. So we both got the Bills laying those 3 points. Oh, man. So before we get into the Eagles, San Francisco.
We missed the game.
What's that?
Baltimore and the Washington football team.
Oh no, I'm just going down this list that I have in front of me. The Eagles are just next on. Do you want to save them for last and go into the Eagles?
We're going to end with the Eagles.
We'll save them for last. So Baltimore and Washington.
Now, real quick, let me ask you. Washington is at home against Baltimore. How many points is Baltimore giving up on the road?
14. Baltimore, Washington.
Baltimore has given up 14 points on the road. But the Ravens cover this? I don't know that they cover 14, bro. I mean, Washington's defense is real.
Yeah, their defensive line, and that's what you need to stop a Lamar Jackson. Ron Rivera is, I think, a good enough coach to do that. With that being said, the only reason that I think someone would consider laying those points is because the Baltimore Ravens just got embarrassed on Monday Night Football against the best team in the league. Nonetheless, they're embarrassed, and they're going to come out smoking this week. It's going to be real tough also if they build a lead to be able to use that defensive line to its full effectiveness because, if the Ravens are ahead, as we know, instead of playing behind, the whole playbook is open. Washington's injury report is kind of extensive. They're missing a guard. They're missing Ioannidis on the defensive line. Reuben Foster's still out. Terry McLaurin didn't practice, but I think he's going to play. Chase Young is now out. So they are missing two pieces on that line. It's not going to be quite as lethal, and Baltimore got embarrassed last week. So do you risk laying those points? I wouldn't touch the game as far as a better, but I don't know if I think I might lay those points. What do you think?
Lock of the week. Washington covers and Baltimore wins.
Okay.
14 points? 10.5 is a trap game, right? 10.5 is a trap game. You mean to tell me that I push if they lose by 2 touchdowns? That is a lock if there's ever been one.
I'm going to lay the points with the Ravens.
Whoa.
It's not a lock. I'm still laying the points.
All right. Okay.
I think I'm going to win by 24. Dwayne Haskins is going to throw 4 interceptions. Lamar Jackson is going to throw for 3 touchdowns, run for 2. It's going to be 35-13.
Okay, how about the Patriots and the Chiefs that is yet to be determined to play on Monday or Tuesday?
If that game goes on, there's no – it's off the board. There's no spread on it yet, so we're going to have to come back to that. They took that spread away. I mean, if Cam Newton's out, there's no Kansas City's going to win that game.
Let's make up a world because I know that you touch yourself at night to the thought of Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. Let's assume
6.5 to 7.5. Probably 7 would be where they would put that spread.
And my boy Aaron takes the Patriots to cover that, don't you?
If Cam's playing, yeah, but he's not. So it'd be Kansas City.
Wait a minute. Let's say that Cam does play. Let's say who cares about that?
He's not playing.
He's not playing.
He's got COVID. Yeah.
Kansas City wins by 20.
Yeah, probably. So it's not even.
See if played, and then Monday night.
I like this game. I got Atlanta and Green Bay. Green Bay laying 7 at Lambeau.
This is a trap game if there's ever been one, bro.
You think so?
So when's the last time Matt Ryan started a season 0-3? Doesn't happen very often to Matt Ryan. Even though he's not that great of a quarterback, it doesn't happen to Matty Ice very often.
It's not his fault though. I mean, he's
sure.
I mean, yes,
but this is the week for Atlanta. This is the week that Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley know if we lose and start a season 0-4, we don't have a chance at postseason football at all. Now that's not me saying that Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna find a way to win this game. Aaron Rodgers is at home. It's Monday Night Football. It's in the prime time. I won't touch this game with the spread because I don't think that it's a stomp fest for Green Bay, and 7 points is a monster. That's a trap game. This is a game that Aaron Rodgers in the last 90 seconds leads his team down to the 37, and they kick a 55-yard field goal to win the game. This is a trap game if there's ever been one.
Yeah, I think I'm laying the points on this all day. And the reason is I think Atlanta's lost their locker room by the way that they've lost. The coach should have been out last season, and he's still coaching. When you lose a locker room as a coach, especially the way they've lost over the last 2 weeks, you almost don't even want to get off the bus and play. And the way that Aaron Rodgers has been playing this week, that defense is going to he's going to throw for 700 yards this week. I'm taking Green Bay. I'm laying the points, and you're taking the Falcons.
Oh God, no! Green Bay wins the game, but it's close.
So you're taking the points.
Have to.
Okay.
7, have to.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start the last game because I know we're going to disagree. So I'm going to start, and I'll get the crazy out of the way first, and then you can come back behind with ration. I know that that's not our normal dynamic here. Normally, you say stupid shit, and I come in to give a little bit of ration out to the world.
My stupid shit always ends up right.
Well, I wouldn't say always. How about Minnesota last week? Anyway, so this is a statistic that matters. The San Francisco 49ers will have not played. Now, obviously, week 1, no team has a win. But the San Francisco 49ers have not played a team with a win yet. This is 4 straight weeks against winless teams. I don't trust Kyle Shanahan. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. You're not taking. Wait a minute. Listen to the logic. What did we see last year, right? We've seen all week this week. All the receivers are hurt. Greg Ward's the only guy playing. John Hightower now comes into practice. Quez Watkins might be available, but is also on some weird IR. There's a bunch of shit about his receiver core. Last year, when Carson had to, which is the position we're in now, we're in a position where if we don't win this game, we might as well just pack our bags and take our 2nd overall draft pick. That's where we are. I promise you, if I'm wrong about this too, this will be, I don't care what they do going forward. They could win 6 in a row after this week. I'll never pick them again. I think that this is a game, if there's going to be one this season, this is the game where we talked about this right before we went live. You're not ready to say Carson's not the guy yet. I'm on that verge.
I have 4 years of evidence that tells me he is, and 3 games of not. So, yeah.
I'm on the verge, and this is the game. And because I am an Eagles fan, I'm going to let my homerism come into this decision. And I'm going to say, somehow, some way, Carson Wentz finds a way to use Miles Sanders the right way. He finds a way to get Greg Ward playing like he did at the end of last season. And the Eagles squeak out their first win against a team in San Francisco that is highly overrated. I know. Go ahead. You can lay into me now. I'm crazy. I know it. Just know I know it going in.
Well, let's break this down for a second too. My thoughts on this game initially were the teams have. There's no real. I'll tell you why there's no real advantage for any of these teams. If you look at both of these teams, out guys and IR guys, the Niners have just about as many injuries as we do. So if you want to see, and I don't think people think that, I don't know if it's Niners fans or people outside think Jimmy Garoppolo is still their savior, but they've proven a lot of times that their backups play just as well as Garoppolo does. They just run their offense a little bit differently, right? Sure. So Mullins is playing, but there's not a big drop off at quarterback. And we still have our starters, so we should have a little bit of maybe an advantage here, but we really don't in that position. If you want to see coaching and what coaching does and how it affects the game this week, this is the game you watch because there's so many injuries on both sides of the ball. What this game actually comes down to is Doug Peterson on one side and Kyle Shanahan on the other side, and who can coach up their guys enough in the scheme that they run and make it fit what they do best. So my faith isn't lost in Carson Wentz at all, but my faith is actually completely gone in Doug's ability to coach these guys up to a level, to take them from second and third string and get them to play well on Sunday, which I just saw Shanahan do last week, missing the premier tight end in the league, the starting running back, the starting quarterback, a couple wide receivers, and then Bosa's out. There's a couple guys on defense and Deebo Samuel. I mean, they're a mess all over the field, and they destroyed the team that they were supposed to destroy. In week 1, we had some injuries, and we did not destroy the team we were supposed to destroy. And I know you like Washington, but for NFL standards, even though their D-line is good, they're still realistically a bad team. I like San Francisco. I don't know by how much. 7 is
San Fran wins the game.
What's that? I think San Fran wins the game. I don't know if I'm willing. The Eagles tend to, for the most part, keep the game close unless it breaks open in the fourth quarter. Even when they have big leads that they've given up by halftime, in the third quarter they seem to come back on those leads. So it's 7. So I like I'm going to take the 7 points that the Eagles are giving me, and I'm going to watch the game extremely frustrated, like all you guys are going to watch it, yelling at the TV, wondering why we're running the plays we're going to run, wondering why we've only handed the ball off to Miles Sanders 16 times by midway through the fourth quarter. And I'm going to take the Eagles with the points, and I'm going to woosah through that game.
Quick before we do closing arguments, because I do want to start doing that. I want both of us to recap our thoughts on the show going forward. Real quick for all you Eagles fans like me, like Aaron, I know that it's bad right now, but do you know who has it worse? The Minnesota Twins have lost 17 postseason games consecutively. 16 years of making the playoffs and can't win a game. It could be worse, guys. That's all I'm saying. It could be worse. Maybe the Philadelphia football Eagles do the right thing after we get a top 10 pick, because they're not going to win more than 6 games this year. They get rid of Howie Roseman, or at least stop him from drafting, and we get a real linebacker, and all of a sudden we might compete again.
I'm still on the train of thought that we're going to be in this till midway through the season, and then somebody's going to break this open.
Give me your closing arguments, Ron.
I don't really have any. I'm excited to see the difference in coaching this week. When you have that many injuries on your football team, it comes down to how well your guys are being coached up and if they're prepared to play in the scheme that you guys are playing against. And this is going to show me not a lot about Carson Wentz, because, again, I have 4 years of very good consistency with Carson Wentz, but I need to see. What are you looking at me like that for? I need to see
your closing arguments. Go ahead.
I need to see the defense play well, because all you're really missing on the defensive side of the ball is Avonte Maddox. So I need to see that come out. I need to see Jim Schwartz develop a scheme that can stop some backup guys on offense. If you can't stop some backup guys on offense, Kyle Shanahan's scheme on offense then is so much better than your starting unit on defense. You need to go. And that's what this game is going to say to me as well. If San Francisco comes out and puts up 30 points on the Eagles, you need to fire Jim Schwartz immediately, because no scheme should be able to outcoach your scheme plus your starting defense. So most of our guys are in. We don't have a ton of depth, but our starters are playing. I need to see the Eagles defense clamp down on San Francisco this week and hold them to something reasonable to give our offense a chance to stay in this game and hopefully win it at the end. That's all I got. Big fact.
Oh, whoa. Justin, don't get a final say?
Oh, my bad. I thought you were just going with the Twins as your final say. I thought that was your.
Oh, no, sir. All right. First of all, I want to know what they got down in Carolina that you're smoking, because we don't got it up here. I need to get in on that. 4 years of consistency. Great year in 16, whatever year that was, hurt after 14 and a half games. Subpar year, hurt. Terrible year, wins a couple games at the end, gets hurt in the playoffs. And then this. And you're going to tell me we got 4 years of consistency out of Carson Wentz? That is the primary. Whoa. We're an hour and 10 in, dog. We're not hashing Carson Wentz. Next episode, we can spend the whole thing talking about Carson Wentz. You're just off base. That's it. You're off base. It's like Doug Peterson. Everybody says 4 years of good. No, we don't. So that's the Eagles.
Inaccurate. Blasphemy.
Nobody in on this planet can tell me that if you look player to player, that LeBron James is not as good. I'll even give you as good. I'm done with the better. I understand that all you Michael lovers and LeBron haters are too old to appreciate what the difference in this league is, or understand the fact that Michael wouldn't stand a chance in a league being an all-NBA defender without being able to hand check. I don't want to go down all that. But if you're not ready to at least see to me that he's as good, I don't want to talk to you about basketball. You don't know what you're talking about. Basketball, done.
Cool.
This is the week, Eagles fans. This is the week. If we lose this game, the season is done. I know that my counterpart, Aaron, is trying to tell you that this division is bad enough that we're going to compete come week 16 and week 17. He's out of his mind, guys. Don't listen to him. I'm sorry that he's setting you up for failure. I will tell you.
I wish that we had videographers and editors so we can just continuously take clips of you saying my ideas and my thoughts are horrible. And then every week me coming in and smiling as soon as I sit down and we start this podcast and laughing up how bad my take was, because it gets proven right over and over and over again. We'll get to that point at some point. We need the fans for that first, and we need the budget for that, but we'll get there. Big Facts, we're on all streaming platforms. YouTube/Big Facts, Facebook/Big Facts, all our personal pages. And we will be with you guys more than likely on Wednesday and try to get one in sooner. If you have any questions, I appreciate everybody commenting. Let's go through these comments real quick before we get off too. I don't want to touch on LeBron anymore because I'm not arguing LeBron and Michael at this point. It's blasphemy. Jack asked who the best football team in the NFL is. I think it's obvious that it's the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
Oh, are you talking about right now?
Yeah,
are you talking about right now or period?
The best team in the NFL right now is?
Right now is Seattle.
Kansas City.
Nah.
How can you take Seattle over Kansas City when Seattle doesn't play any defense? You just saw them whoop Baltimore's ass in Kansas City. We'll talk about that another time. Okay. I love Russell Wilson too, but they're not better. I think Washington loses. No Chase Young, no Ioannidis. Your father said that Green Bay loses. I don't see that happening, but you seem to, right?
Come on, Pop. Put it down, dog. Stop it.
I think you took the points on that, right?
I took the points because it's 14, but Atlanta does not beat Green Bay. That's stupid. Anyway,
he thinks that Carson's going to overcome his mental block this week. I think this is a pure coaching game as long as, the Eagles win.
No mental block. He's just not the elite guy we thought he was. He's a good quarterback. He's not Gardner Minshew. He's not Baker Mayfield. But he is not Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Period. There is no mental block.
Yeah, no, he's not either of those guys, and coaching is going to matter this week. So, yeah, that's all we got, and we will see you guys in a couple days. And if you have any more questions, feel free to inbox either of us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday and let you know if we're going live earlier. Justin, you have a good football Sunday. Go Birds.
Go Birds, brother.
Let's go.